productive on the go can sometimes be a bit of a pain, especially if, like me, you have a dual monitor setup in your office or wherever you work. So whenever you're out and about, you just feel maybe a little cramped or you just want a little bit of extra screen real estate to get some work done. So we've been testing a USB-C portable monitor that we think will help you be a little bit more productive on the go. But before we get into that, guys, this video is brought to you by WordPress.com. 60 million people worldwide choose WordPress.com to create their websites because they have all of the tools and templates for you to create a stunning website. If you'd like to learn more, head over to chromeunbox.com/WordPress. So the monitor that we've been testing is the Wimaxit portable monitor. And the main thing that you need to know is that this thing is USB-C and touchscreen. So with just one cable, you can throw this thing in the bag, head over to the coffee shop, and be up and running if you're using USB-C, because it's gonna carry the display and the power through that one cable. Speaking of throwing this thing in a bag, the Wimaxit is pretty thin and light. I honestly didn't have any issues carrying this thing around with me. Depending on the size of your bag, it might be a bit of a tight fit. This thing is slightly larger than a 15-inch MacBook Pro, so it should fit in most standard laptop bags. The back and sides of this monitor are all aluminum, and it kind of has this nice brushed finish to it, so it does look decent sitting on the table next to your Chromebook. The silver buttons on the side are nice and clicky, so the build and design are just pretty decent. We did have an issue with the case in the first one that was sent over. If you watched our unboxing, you might have seen that the back of it kind of cracked and it wouldn't hold itself up at all, so we actually had to tape it and try to get it to stand up. They sent us another case after that, and we made that one work with a little bit of gaffer tape and some little foam pieces on the bottom to keep it from sliding around on the table. But Wimaxit has informed us that they have a new model that they are selling now that has a more folio style case. So that should fix this issue, but we haven't actually tested that out yet. The new model definitely looks like it should work better, and it also has a VESA mount on the back if you want to put this on your desk as kind of like a permanent monitor. So the design and build are honestly pretty good, but what's more important is what this monitor can actually do. The Wimaxit is the first portable monitor that we've used that has a touchscreen. So it's kind of funny how you get used to a touchscreen on a device and then you go to use something else and you find yourself reaching up to touch the screen. I definitely found myself doing the switching between my MacBook Pro and the Pixelbook or the Slate. And so it really makes sense to have a portable monitor that's touchscreen if you have a touchscreen Chromebook, so that way your input is the same on both. Speaking of the screen, the panel on the Wimaxit is actually pretty impressive. It's a 15.6-inch IPS 1920 by 1080, so that's a 16:9 ratio, and it has 250 nits of brightness. It is a glass screen, so it can be a little bit reflective, but honestly, this screen just looks great. And the best part is that this panel is touchscreen, so if you're using a Chromebook that has a touchscreen, it really just makes sense to have a portable monitor that's touchscreen as well. So I actually ended up using the Wimaxit as my main external monitor when we first moved into our new office space, because I just hadn't gotten around to ordering a new monitor yet, and we had the Wimaxit around, so I put it up next to my 15-inch Retina display on my MacBook, and honestly, with a little bit of calibration, the Wimaxit looked pretty good. I was just really impressed with the image quality of this thing up next to the 15-inch MacBook Pro. And although it wasn't touchscreen, using my mouse, I didn't experience any trailing or anything like that, and I was just really happy with this setup. So like I said, you can adjust this screen pretty easily. You just press the menu button on the side, an on-screen menu pops up, and then you can navigate down through there and make any changes you want. I found that just a slight reduction in the contrast and the brightness made this monitor look pretty good. You can also click into the color temperature setting and change from cool or warm or your user setting. In your user setting, you can also adjust the red, green, and blue. And honestly, I found that just adjusting the brightness and contrast created a pretty decent image, so I just normally left it on the user setting. As for input, the main draw with the Wimaxit is the USB-C connection, but it also has 2 mini HDMI ports. So in theory, you could toggle between those and have multiple devices hooked up using that input button on the side. If you do end up using the mini HDMI input, you will need to power the device using the USB-C power port on the side because this thing doesn't have an internal battery. I tested out the mini HDMI and it works just fine. I just think it's a bit of a flimsy connection, so I didn't really use that very often, especially whenever all the devices I'm using are USB Type-C. So you do have options for connecting to the Wimaxit, and it's nice that they also provide all of these cables in the box. You get a USB-C to C, a USB-A to C with a little quick charge block, and a mini HDMI to full-size HDMI. The last thing I want to talk about that we actually haven't been able to test is that you can actually hook up a compatible smartphone that has DisplayPort through USB-C directly to this monitor and use it with your smartphone. So if you want to play games with it or maybe watch a movie or whatever, you could do that if you have a compatible smartphone. We've really enjoyed testing out the Wimaxit, and honestly, for $275, this is a very useful accessory for your Chromebook. If you want to be more productive on the go, this USB-C touchscreen monitor is a great option. So guys, that's it for this one. I hope we've helped you make a purchasing decision. If we did, please hit subscribe down below. Click the like button and make sure to click the little notification bell to be notified for future videos just like this one. So we'll catch you guys in the next one.